Cruise news time, and we've got some exciting stories today. We've got another new cruise ship that already needs repair. We've got Norwegian Cruise Line making it official. We also have a cruise line that is guaranteeing that you can see the northern lights. And, well, we've got a story of a crew member harassed over wearing a face mask. Yeah. Cruise news and my views. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news and views for your face. It is Monday, the 23rd of January, 2023. Wow, I can't believe January is almost over. Hope everybody is doing good. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. And look, before we get into the cruise news, I don't know if you saw the video yesterday about the YouTube comment scammers, but it's running wild. It's running rampant on almost every channel. You have people that are doing identity impersonation, trying to look like they are La Lido Loca or Don's Family Vacations or Emma Cruises, and they're not them. And they're saying, hey, reach out to me because I want to give you something. None of us are doing that. Do not be fooled by the scammers. If I send you a comment, it's just going to say La Lido Loca, and it's going to have a verified check mark next to it. It's not going to have Telegram me at WhatsApp, double dip. You're going to get never, ever, never, never, ever, ever, never, never, ever. Don't fall for the trap. Look, you're on the internet now, everybody. Take everything cautiously. Assume that everybody that sends you a message or an email is out to get you, and then you'll tread lightly. So certainly, I'm not trying to message you on Telegram or whatever that is. So there you go. Also, a shout out to everybody in the comments yesterday who helped me out, reminded me that the cruise ship the La Parousse is part of the Ponant brand. That's the French brand, Ponant. So thank you guys. Merci beaucoup. Now to the cruise news. First, let's talk about the other brand new cruise ship that, well, unfortunately is canceling cruises over the need for repairs. This time we're talking about the Seabourn Venture. The Seabourn Venture has canceled 5 cruises in April because it's having trouble with its stabilizers. Of course, stabilizers is what keeps the cruise ship stable in rocky waters, and this cruise ship is doing cruises to Antarctica. And to get to Antarctica, you normally leave somewhere in South America. You have to cross through Drake's Passage to get to Antarctica, and well, that Drake's Passage is some pretty notoriously choppy waters. So you need those stabilizers, and they haven't had them for a while, so it's been a little bit of a challenge for those cruises. And Seabourn has decided to, well, basically scrap the whole month of April, canceling 5 cruises. Now, they're giving a full refund to passengers that were impacted by these cancellations, giving back the cruise fare. Everything that you paid the cruise company for, you're getting back. So if you got your airline flights through the cruise company, you're getting that back. But you're not getting your airline flights back if you book those on your own. So this is a little bit of a cautionary tale. Not only are they getting a full refund, they're also getting a 25% future cruise credit. But another good story here to remind everybody that you should get travel insurance. That way your air flights could be taken care of. Also, Seabourn is going to try to work with people for airline fees. They're going to do that on a case-by-case basis. But yeah, a series of fantastical cruises canceled in April on an essentially brand new cruise ship. The Silver Seas Venture just debuted in July of 2022. It makes sense. Better to fix it now than to keep dragging people across the bumpy seas. Cruise news story number 2, Norwegian Cruise Line has made it official. About a week ago, I told you of sightings of a return to the traditional muster on the NCL breakaway, and we all speculated whether there was change on the wind. And well, there was change on the wind indeed. Norwegian Cruise Line coming out and saying that effective immediately, they will be doing away with the E-muster and returning to the traditional muster on all of its cruise ships across all of its cruise brands. So that is Norwegian Cruise Line, Oceania Cruises, and Regent Seven Seas. In the email that was sent out by Norwegian Cruise Line, they cited putting a premium on crew and guest safety and constantly evaluating their processes as the reason for this return to the traditional muster. This move by Norwegian follows the move that Disney Cruise Line made back in November, deciding that the traditional muster was better than the new e-muster process. And as it happens, as these things happen with other cruise lines, a lot of the Carnival faithful banged into John Heald, the brand ambassador, with the question, "What about you, Carnival? Are you going to go back to the traditional muster?" To which he said, "No, we're staying with the e-muster for now." So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the industry reacts over time. Will we see other major cruise lines going back to the traditional muster, or is e-muster here to stay? Both have their pros and cons. Certainly the biggest pro of the e-muster is that you can knock it out right away. You don't have to wait for other people to show up to the muster station. You can go find your muster station on your own. You can really get involved with learning about the safety on your own. Back to the traditional muster, you're kind of stuck waiting for everybody to show up. Everything on the cruise ships shuts down. Either way, you're getting the same information and the same experience. It's just about whether you do it on your own or do it in a crowd. And it seems like for some cruise lines, the doing it in a crowd is, well, the way they want to do it. It's a bummer. I'll be experiencing that traditional muster for the first time in just about a week. And I'll definitely tell you how it was. Hopefully it runs smoothly. Have you had to do traditional muster lately? How's it been? Leave a comment below. Cruise news story number 3. We had a milestone day for the Celebrity Ascent. The Celebrity Ascent is the newest cruise ship being built in the Celebrity Edge class. That class of ships include the Celebrity Edge, the Celebrity Apex, and the Celebrity Beyond. The big milestone for the Celebrity Ascent happened on Saturday, January the 21st at the Chantier de l'Antique shipyard in Saint-Nazaire, France. And the big milestone was a float out. And it's exactly what it sounds like. They float the partially built ship out for the very first time. It is the first time that the ship touches water. And in a sad, ironic twist, as soon as the Ascent touched the water, she sank to the bottom. I'm kidding! That's probably a bad thing. It's just a joke, everybody. Wouldn't that be a crazy thing? You got everybody there for the big float out ceremony, and as soon as you flood the dry dock, it didn't happen. She floated out fine. She's on the water, all right? But wow, yeah. But congratulations, Celebrity. You are well on your way to having yourself another Edge-class cruise ship joining the fleet. The debut of the Celebrity Ascent is scheduled to happen in December of 2023. This year, y'all. How about that? Cruise news story number 4 is a story unlike any I've heard before. We have a cruise ship that is changing where it's registered. It's changing its flags. The cruise ship in question, Royal Caribbean Spectrum of the Seas, is transferring her registry from the Bahamas to Cyprus, and it will now sell the Cypriot flag. This reflagging of the Spectrum of the Seas coincides with Royal Caribbean's opening up of an Eastern Mediterranean office in Limassol. Sounds like this move really is to strengthen Royal Caribbean's relationship with Cyprus. Royal Caribbean has been sailing from Limassol since July of 2021, and Cyprus played a huge role in getting crew members home during the shutdown. About 40,000 sailors came through Cyprus to return home when the crew was being repatriated. I don't know how the Bahamas feel about this. There wasn't any information about the Bahamas. Royal Caribbean obviously has a good relationship with the Bahamas, and it seems now an even strengthened relationship with Cyprus. Now, I still have 2 very big cruise news stories to talk about. We have a cruise line guaranteeing that you'll see the Northern Lights, which if you've ever wanted to see the Northern Lights, you know a guarantee would be a nice thing. And I've got to talk about the crew member that was harassed by a guest for wearing a mask, which I'm trying not to get too upset about that on the front end. But before I get there, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Look, when you think of cruising, when you think of cruise news, and when you think of jazz hands, I would like you to think of me. Remember me. Yeah, Tony. That's me. La Lido Loca. Look, you can get notified when the show comes out. Look, you can be a part of the Loca fan. Look, you can hear me say look. All you gotta do is subscribe, notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on these episodes. Thank you in advance. All right, Hurtigruten. Hurtigruten is a cruise line in Norway. And well, Norway is a place where you can see the Northern Lights. Hurtigruten has come out with a very interesting and unique marketing campaign for the Northern Lights. They have what's called the Hurtigruten's Northern Lights Promise. It's applicable to sailings that are happening starting September the 26th, running through March the 31st, and this is what the promise is. If you go on an 11-day sailing or longer sailing with Hurtigruten, they guarantee that you will see Northern Lights. And if you do not see Northern Lights, they will give you a free 6-day cruise. Guaranteed. Now, there's certainly terms and conditions what constitutes seeing Northern Lights. One condition is that the deck officers get to declare whether or not Northern Lights are in the sky. And then the other condition is, well, it's up to you to see them. They're not going to make you see the Northern Lights. So if they declare that Northern Lights are there and somehow you miss it, well, that's not on the cruise line. But if you go on this 11-day cruise and there is no Northern Lights in the sky at all, never called out by the deck officers, then, well, you'll get yourself a free 6-day cruise. It's pretty cool. I mean, you're committing 11 days to do it, but yeah, I like it. I think it's a great marketing ploy, and it'll be interesting how many people jump on this. I wouldn't mind trying Hurtigruten. Like, if I'm going to go sell the Norwegian fjords, it would be cool to do it on one of these smaller Norwegian Hurtigruten ships. They do a lot of stuff. They do cruising, they do ferry work, all kinds of stuff, but they have some pretty nice cruise ships, even some new expedition cruise ships that are like hybrid cruise ships. So, yeah. Have you ever sailed on Hurtigruten? Does this enticement for a guaranteed Northern Lights viewing do anything for you? Are you tingling? What do you think? Leave a comment below. Now, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the crew member harassed over wearing a mask. This message was sent to Carnival brand ambassador John Heald, and of course the person's name was left anonymous, but the message is this: Heald, I remain unvaccinated. So this was our first no-restriction Carnival cruise on the Panorama. We both had no problems and did not exercise any extra precautions. Question though, most of the staff were not masked, but our wait team did, and it made us all at the table feel very uneasy, like they were hiding something from us. This, and they were very hard to understand with the not speaking good English, and now wearing a mask. I asked the senior waiter why he was wearing a mask. He just laughed it off. Never gave me a truthful answer. I am asking the company ambassador to provide the truth to this. Crew should not be allowed to wear masks, period. I honestly can't believe we are still dealing with this. Buddy, why the crew member chooses to wear a mask is none of your freaking business. The same way why you got vaccinated or not vaccinated is none of my freaking business. The guy is there trying to do a job. It doesn't matter what answer he would have given you. You would have probably told him why wearing a mask was ridiculous. This is what I've seen time and time again. Anytime masks are talked about, anytime the subject comes up, there's always two sides. There's the pro and the against, and both sides never agree on anything. It still blows my mind that adults are freaked out by other adults wearing masks. Like, you know, you're sitting there enjoying your cruise, unmasked, enjoying your meal, and your server has a mask on, and all of a sudden you freak out like you saw a big spider on the ceiling. Seriously. Again, I am okay with people making their own decisions to not get vaccinated. I am okay with people deciding whether or not to mask or not. I am okay with all of that. I've always been okay with all of that. I've always contended that if you're going to use a business's services, you have to follow whatever rules they set forth. It doesn't matter whether you agree with the rules or don't agree with the rules. If you want to use the business's services, then you have to follow the rules. And that's always been my only objection. If you didn't want to wear a mask and the cruise line required you to wear a mask, then you should not go on the cruise. Same thing with vaccination. But whether or not you wanted to get vaccinated or wear a mask, none of my business. I don't care. And so in the same way, why does the crew member have to come up with some justification for wearing a mask? The company has said to the crew, you can wear a mask, you cannot wear a mask. That's at your own discretion. That should be enough. If you know, and it's not a secret. And so, I don't know. I don't understand why people want to harass crew members who are just there trying to do their job because they feel uncomfortable because they're wearing a mask. Can we do two things? Could we familiarize ourselves with the policy of the cruise line when it comes to masking for crew? And if you don't like it, don't go. And number two, can we just leave the crew members and other people alone when it comes to the decisions that they're making for themselves? I don't wear the mask anymore unless it's required, unless it's part of the rules, but I would never look at somebody that chooses to mask up and make some sort of judgment about them or suppose that I understand what's going on in their mind. And I would never look at somebody masked up and somehow make that a terror to me. I feel so uneasy. I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting, but I just hate to see these hardworking people get hassled for really no good reason. And I'm glad the cruise line stands behind them. John Heald said, look, it's their choice. So, it is what it is. Okay. Thank you so much for checking out the show today. I sure hope you enjoyed it. You can show that you enjoyed it by hitting the like button. And, well, unfortunately, if you do not hit the like button, I will be forced to punish you. Because I am Frank Castle. I will be forced to punish you, and your punishment is this. On your very next cruise on Norwegian Cruise Line, you will have to go to the traditional muster, and the function for scanning your card will malfunction, and you won't get credit for going to the traditional muster, and you'll have to do it again on the next day on the makeup day. And you'll be one of those people like the kids in the Breakfast Club going to detention while everybody else is having fun, doing a redo muster when you already did it the first time. How's that for a heavy punishment? You better just hit the like button. You don't have to go through all that. This is Tony for La Vida Loca. Check out this video. YouTube says you'll love it. And until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.